Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another day of me just setting up workshops, as this is the Alec Steele Unboxing and Workshop Setup channel. Before I get into it, you notice I'm wearing a new pair of glasses lately. That's thanks to our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by GlassesUSA.com. Click the link in the description to get a special offer. Got to try on some new glasses. The Muse Buyers. The Ototo Talinum. Oh, I got some Westerns in clear with a blue light coating. We've of course got my favorite Westerns in tortoise. The best fitting pair of Ray-Ban aviators I've ever got. And what I think I'm gonna start wearing, these Santanas. Right, back to the video.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Yes! At last! Oh, ta-da! Here are the goodies. Just need to find a tripod, that's all I want.
After unboxing the crate, the workshop got a little messy, so after a little tidying up, the timing was just right because the transport company dropped off the Bridgeport that you remember I bought a few episodes ago. Uh-oh. What was that? That wasn't good. Uh-oh. Ah, I broke it! Bridgeport is in place, but it's making weird noises. Not good noises. So let's turn that off. See what's happening. I think I might have put the wires on one of the wrong pins. Moment of truth. Oh, come on! There we go! That's what we wanted. Test it in low range. Oh, yes. That is very nice. Back in high range. Right, how about the power feeds? Yay! Oh, that's stuck. That's not good. Oh. It's a little tight. How about this power feed? Whee! And this one. Yep, that works too. So the table's a little bit tight when it gets all the way out here, which tells you that this machine has had a good bit of use. If you want to learn more about these Bridgeports, I made a series, probably 2.5, 3 years ago now, about taking apart my old UK Bridgeport. And if you watch that, you'd know that in here, there is a gib, and that is a tapered piece of steel that you can screw in or out to effectively shorten the female part of the dovetail so it's tighter against this male portion of the dovetail, and that's adjustable so that as it wears through use, you can keep a minimal amount of slop in the machine. This axis of the machine also has that, a little more visible here. There's the screw, there's the tapered gib. The little bits of dirt and grit from the workshop gets in here, you move it back and forth, it wears. So what I'm going to do now is to take the opportunity to give it a quick clean. I'm not going to do anything of a big overhaul of the machine, but at least make sure that we don't let it get too much worse. If you go look at a Bridgeport mill, you'll see if it's in good condition, if there's the original factory scraping. This is a technique that's used to make precision, super flat parts. You'll see on this example where the wear has happened. Like I was talking about earlier, this is where the table does most of its work and gets swayed. We'll put some oil in the ways. Now that they've been degreased and cleaned, there we go, happy days. Alright, so we got this little vise mounted up. We've got the head all trimmed and square. I'll of course want to upgrade to a beefier, a higher precision vise when I can. This fortunately came with the mill. We got to lop those bolts off. You might be wondering though, why I took it off of that nice looking little swivel base. It always looks appealing. Remember when I bought my first mill, I was so excited to see that there was a vise that could spin 360 degrees and also cut angles. And that was the first vise that I got. But I later found out it's actually a bad idea to get a vise that's got all these fancy abilities to twist and angle, because every little extra component adds a little bit of height. The angle adjustable vices add even more height, and you end up getting a much larger distance between your dovetails and your workpiece, and the cutting forces therefore have much more leverage over this whole machine, and you then end up with a setup that's just really not that rigid. It vibrates a lot more, so the lower down to the bed your work holding, the better. And to be honest, not once have I actually ever needed the swiveling capabilities, I don't think. Now have a look here at the tools that I got with this Bridgeport. We have ourselves 3 face mills of different diameters and different teeth numbers. We've got some adapters, and I thought this was quite interesting. It's obviously not the way an angle grinding disc was intended to be used, but this is an arbor-mounted 4.5-inch grinding disc. It came with the machine, and it's getting me interested. I bet there's an occasion where that would be super handy to use a commonly available grinding disc in your Bridgeport, and so I'm going to let that one rattle around in the old head for the type of job that needs it. Now here's something that's brand new though. I know, occasionally in this workshop I've cheaped out and occasionally I've splurged. This right here is something I've always wanted, a keyless Bridgeport chuck. That was about 160 pounds. There are certain things where I've said to myself I will cheap out on, and there are certain things where, after years of not having the good quality stuff, I know it's going to be worth it. Keyless chucks are meant to be the bee's knees. If you think that tiny little bit of tooling with the Bridgeport's exciting though, have a look at what came with the lathe. I have an utterly incredible selection of lathe tooling. The amount of cutters, tool holders, and interesting accessories that came with this is mind-blowing. Everything from the tiniest of parting tool to the chunkiest of inside threading bars. While we're on the lathe topic, we've got to do a little more to it. We've actually got to lift it up, stick these plates of steel under the feet, and that gives us enough clearance to get the coolant tank underneath it. All right, here we've got our coolant tank under there. Our power was coming out of this little bit of conduit, but we're eventually going to have our outlets on this back wall. So we wrangled it out, and here it is. These two machines both have a decent little bit of work in them. I need to put a DRO, a digital readout, onto the Bridgeport, and I need to level the lathe properly. On a big lathe like this, it's especially important that it's level and that the bed isn't twisted, because if there's a twist in the bed, you'll end up starting to cut tapers. This old Tony has some videos that talk about this. Now, the last time I turned on the lathe, I actually couldn't get it to work very well. So what I went ahead and did is something that I've never ever done before. Usually I throw away manuals, and I actually went and bought one. I at last figured it all out. This is a bit of aluminium. Let's make some chips and show you how this thing works. Oh my goodness. Oh, I like this lathe already. Oh yes, this thing is smooth. Let's take a nice heavy cut. Woo, Betsy! Oh, that's glorious. So on this machine, it's this red handle that actually controls the spindle. You can hear the spindle is off, but there's still a motor spinning back there. Once I hit this, the spindle starts spinning. Put this back to the middle, the spindle breaks and disengages. Lift it up, the spindle goes in reverse. Right here we have our power feeds, and of course there's an emergency stop, and this is the dial from which you change your speeds. Find what it is that you're after. Hit the brake release. Maybe you got to do a little bit of this to shimmy it into place. There's 250. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice machine. Let's see if we can get the coolant pump to work. Oh God, in the face. Yuck. This is my favorite cutting fluid, and it has nothing to do with the color. Entirely performance-based. I just love the performance of this compared to all the other ones I've tried. It's so green. So now we see if when we hit the coolant button, it's not pumping. Okay. Oh boy. I probably should have tested the pump before I put 5 gallons of coolant in the tank. Ah, I screwed it up big time. It's meant to slide on rails. God, I'm a nincompoop. See this right here and right there? They're rails, and it's meant to slide in on that and be suspended off the ground. And now it's just pouring onto the floor. Time is of the essence. Up you go now. Yes! Oh! Yes! It's in place. I've made a bit of a mess. But, fingers crossed. Come on. Nothing. It's just still not working. Righto, next up on the new workshop, I need to get my belt grinder. I need to order belts too. But I need to get the belt grinder set up. You'll see we have a grinding room that's lit. And we need to put this belt grinder on a custom-made stand. All right, let's take a measurement here to the center of the platen. Oh, it's about 1 foot. Let's see where I want to be grinding. Oh, I'd say about here. So I now know I need my stand to be 820 millimeters high. I love it when there is a project in mind, you start drawing, and all of a sudden ideas come. We've made grinder stands that look like that in the past. Well, I wanted to think what I could do new. Could we do legs like an anvil stand? Ooh, could we do something like this? I think so. We're going to cut up some angle iron and make an interesting industrial looking stand for this grinder. Okay, so I've got the top of my grinder stand assembly. The legs will get welded onto it like this, but I need to try and work out if I do these little kind of struts in there before or after welding the legs to the top. I've given it a thought. I'm gonna weld the legs on now. We've got one side all tacked up to the top. Now, on my MDF welding table, see if we can get this squared up. The strutting is wonderfully easy to put in. It's just some 1/4" round bar, and I'm just tacking it on the underside. We'll see, maybe it's a nice and simple way of cheaply making an interesting looking structure. So that is pretty cool. This thing is pretty light, and yet, it's actually quite strong. Were it not for these little bits of 1/4" round, I wouldn't be able to get on this side here and jump on top of it. I wanted to learn more about how trusses work, and apparently it's based on having a structure where some components are in tension and some are in compression. Hey, first use of the Bridgeport. Feet. That's a pretty cool contraption. I'm happy I was able to make a belt grinder stand. A little different than the belt grinder stands I've made in the past. Let's see if the thing still turns on. Hey, that's a spinning wheel. And with that, I think we'll thank our sponsor. This episode's been brought to you with the help of GlassesUSA.com. They cut out the middleman and mean that you can buy frames for as much as 70% off the normal prices you'd be paying on the high street. But you don't have to miss out on the experience of trying on your glasses, because with their virtual try-on feature, you can do it from the comfort of your home. Just take a photo on your webcam. They make glasses incredibly affordable. You can get a complete pair, that's frames and lenses, starting at just $30. And they're now also offering Bluease, which is a coating to help reduce eye strain from your digital devices. They've also got a free app called Prescription Scanner that means that you can take a pair of glasses that do work fine, scan the prescription, and find out what it is if you've forgotten it. Whether you want normal frame sunglasses, sports glasses, they've got it all, and all with a 14-day money-back guarantee. So please go to GlassesUSA.com, hit my link in the description, and get a special offer. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. They help make all of this possible, and especially, they help me see, because I can't see anything without these glasses.